Wikipedia is built on the concept that anyone can edit pages and that we all collectively know more than each individual. So in the classroom, how does that look? Well, is there a way that we can pool our knowledge so that together we know more than individual students and even know more than the teacher? So a lot of companies have used the wiki technology and tried to open it up and apply it in different areas. And so the place where I'm going to go today is called Wikispaces. And Wikispaces is built on the Wiki software, which allows anyone to update content on a web page easily and quickly. So let's look at a problem that I had in a classroom, and that is, how can we all know a pretty big pool of information? How can we do that as a group and make our learning more efficient? In the College Board's course description for AP English Language, there's a list of representative authors, and while it says there's no recommended or required reading list for the class and that these authors are provided simply to suggest a range and quality of reading expected in the course, it does seem like a good idea for students to be familiar with these writers. There are a lot of good writers, and so I look at that list and I think, I would like my students to know about these writers. The fact is, most of them don't know a lot about these writers, but as a group I thought, I bet we could find out enough about these writers so that we could at least become grounded in their different genres and styles and historical periods. So that's why I set up a class wiki page for the AP authors that are recommended. I created a wiki for all the writers on the recommended reading list. You've heard of Wikipedia, and there may be some controversy around that site, but the technology basically allows any user to go to this page and edit it. So I thought, well, I'll create pages for all the writers, and my student's job then is to go and populate those pages with information that might be useful to the class, kind of thumbnail sketches of who these writers are on the recommended reading list. So as you can see, the technology of the wiki is that anyone can edit this page. So I could go right now and edit it. I'm not logged in or anything. And I can make changes on this page using an editing toolbar that looks really familiar if you use word processing. I can make lists, I can make bulleted lists, I can draw lines across it, I can link to other sites, which I'll have my students do, and if I make mistakes I can unlink those. I can add images, but anybody can make changes to this page, and that is the strength, and I suppose what some people would consider drawback to the wiki. So when you go to my classes page, the address is apauthors.wikispaces.com. It'll look like this, and what you should do first is sign in. So you go to the sign in link, click it, get to a page here where it prompts you to put your username and password. Well, if you're a first-time user, you actually need to go here and join Wikispaces. Now, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is add a username that you'll remember and a password you'll remember and your email address. And then probably you want to click yes on being allowed to make wiki spaces of your own, because why not? You develop special interests, and you can do that. Now they'll prompt you to put in a name. I put in the name AP Authors, for instance. I made it public and free. I did not want it protected. I wanted everybody to be able to view the pages and edit the pages. Now there is an option that says everyone can view pages, only space members can edit them. So if you're concerned about too many people adding information to the page that you don't want them to add, then maybe you want to do a protected page. And you can get more stuff, I guess, for free and only space members can add and edit those pages. So that would be like for a closed group that you didn't want anyone else to see. Um, that would be the option you'd use there. So do that. If you don't want to start your own space, just click no. So most of my class just did username, password, email address, click no, and then join. Once I'm signed in, I can make new pages. I can click here and just do new page, and I just enter the name of my new page, which for my class would be the author's last name. So if we were writing a page about Benjamin Franklin, I would type in Franklin and create. Now also on my main page here, what it will go to is something where I can edit information about Benjamin Franklin. So for now I'm just going to leave that as is, and I will save it after I put in a tag, which will be like American literature. For now, that'll be a tag, and you'll see what that tag will do in just a second. So I'm going to save the changes. Also on the home page, there are some other links here. Now, I just made a new page, as you can see. The next thing down says recent changes, which is pretty nice. As the teacher, I can see like who's done what. As you can see, the page Franklin I just did a minute ago. I can see who did it because I signed in. Now here's a case of someone who edited a page, me, before I signed in. So when you have someone just edit the page from outside of your group or without signing in, it'll just be their IP address of their computer. But then the next one here is one of my students who entered something on Tuesday, and then here's another student who entered something on March 31st. So that's just kind of a running log of who's been editing what pages. And so as you can see, I edited a couple of things on the main page of the essay and fiction writers, and then this student edited something about John Locke, also edited the main political page, and then this student edited a page about John Muir. Also on this page is a manage space link, and if I click on that, it lists the people who are members. So some people decided to be members, some people just signed in without becoming members. Either way was fine for my purposes. And you know, one of the many things you can do is you can change names and descriptions and the look and feel, the template of the place. I could make it look a little different if I wanted to. I could delete the space if I wanted to. I can invite people. I can put a badge on my blog. A lot of things I can do with this space. Okay, so let's look at one of the pages. If I click on the Autobiographers and Diarists link, I get a list that I took straight out of the College Board's course description for AP English Language, the recommended reading. And now those writers are actually links to more information about those people. Now you can see that not all of them have been linked yet. So my class has not completed as a group information about all these writers, but we're off to a pretty good start. Maya Angelou was my example that I used to illustrate what I wanted students to do. So if we look at that page, we've got a little link to a Wikipedia article about Maya Angelou. So if I click there, takes me to that Wikipedia page about her. And you can see this Wikipedia page, actually, they've disabled editing. So not all Wikipedia pages can be edited. I have a little summary about what I think about the writer, so I would expect my students to read a little bit or enough so that they can talk cogently about this writer's work. So I said a lot of people have read I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, but she's written some poetry as well. I mentioned the incident from her life that is, you know, pretty important to I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. when she was sexually abused by her mother's boyfriend, and she felt some guilt about, the resulting events that happened to the perpetrator. And then I also mentioned that I think she's a pretty good orator because she's won a Grammy in the Best Spoken Word album category. And then there's another site that's called mayaangelou.com, I think. And I also included an image of Maya there, so I thought my students could probably do something similar to that for all the writers. And again, anyone can edit this page right now. I haven't had a problem with it. And you can see that you get just an editing toolbar that most people are familiar with. Now it's time to edit a page. How do you actually make a page and link to the page on this site? So let's say I'm at the home page and I click on Autobiographers and Diarists, and I see Benjamin Franklin is here, but he's not linked. And I know I made a page about him. I did that not too long ago. So I find his name on the list here, and you can't see it all, but trust me. What I'm going to do is highlight his name, then I'm going to click link, and I'm going to get a box here that's going to ask me what I want to link it to. Well, I think I'd like to link it to the page called Franklin that I have created not too long ago. There he is. So I'm just going to link that text to the page that I just created about Benjamin Franklin. Click OK. And now if you'll notice, if I save this page, it'll take me back out to the home page, and you'll see that Benjamin Franklin now is a link. He's not just a piece of text on here, but I can now link to him. And if you remember, there's not a whole lot to link to because I just put his name on the page. But the name of the page now up here is apauthors.wikispaces.com/Franklin. That's the full URL of this page. And one other thing I would point out is that, remember I tagged it with American literature? Down at the bottom of each entry there's a little link, and if I click it, I will link to all the people who've been tagged as American literature writers. And in this case, I'm the only one who's tagged yet because I didn't tell my students yet to put tags. But you can imagine that we will populate this page pretty soon without any extra work on my part with links to all writers of American literature. So right now on the home page we're linking by genre, but we can also link by American literature, or we might link by British literature. So now let's build a page about Benjamin Franklin. If you'll remember, he's in the Autobiographer and Diarist portion of this site. There's a link to him. We've got some information that says he wrote Poor Richard's Almanac and the Autobiography of Benjamin Franklin. I would like to turn this into a link so that people can actually read the Autobiography of Benjamin Franklin. So I'm going to highlight the text, and I'm going to link to the text that can be found in Project Gutenberg. And Project Gutenberg is an external link, so it's not on a wiki page that I made now. I need to go out to a page that is, I just copied and pasted the URL in there. And so now that's going to turn into a link that will take me to a page about Benjamin Franklin, or actually his autobiography of Benjamin Franklin. Now when I go back out there, you'll notice that now this is a link, and it's got this little green arrow that I guess further emphasizes that it's a link. It will take me to the page about Autobiography of Benjamin Franklin by Benjamin Franklin, and it's created by the people at Project Gutenberg, which is a noble endeavor where they're digitizing all the text of classic books that they think everyone should read and putting them online. So that's my link to Project Gutenberg's full text of the Autobiography of Benjamin Franklin, which is a good book if you haven't read that. And now let's say I want to add an image. So I'm going to go back in here, I'm going to edit this page, and I would like to add an image of Benjamin. And what I'm going to do is go to a favorite site that I have that's from Corbis Images. Now there's a little button down here in Corbis Images that will allow me to browse and find that photo. Okay. It just so happened that I made a mistake on this page, and I want to show you a nice feature of the wiki that's pretty handy. I've got this image here that I put that's not working correctly, so I want to actually revert to an earlier version of this page when I didn't have this thing on here. So if I go to my History tab and go back to a page that I had earlier that I actually think was fine, I can revert to that version. So I can go back and it'll say, are you sure you want to do this? And I'm going to say, yeah, revert. That's what I want to do. And so now I've gone back to a page that's actually the way I want it. And that's useful because someone might put some information on the page that you don't think is correct or you don't really want. And so you can always go back as the owner of the space and revert to a page the way it was. And if you get someone on there who's really troublesome, you can lock them out. But I haven't had that problem myself. So let's say I want to add an image of Benjamin Franklin now to this page. Here's my image icon. And one place that I would recommend that you go is Corbis Images for Educations. I got at it through my public library, so I have access to it for free, gale.corbis.com. And I'm on the search page right now. I'm going to put in Benjamin Franklin and go, and I will get some images of Ben. I like the one where he's more literate. I click on that one. He's looking at the Declaration of Independence, something an English teacher would like. That's a nice image. And I just add that to my download folder through the Corbis people, and then I have saved an image of Benjamin Franklin. Now, once I've saved an image, I can actually put it in there into my wikispaces page. And you can see these are all the images that my students have uploaded about authors. And I should find Ben Franklin here somewhere. There he is. Went by him already. Sorry about that. So if I get Ben, he should now be on my page somewhere. And I'm going to check him out here. And yeah, there he is. I've got an image of Benjamin Franklin on the page. Now, it may not look all that great, but I have uploaded an image to the page, and now when I go back, it actually looks a lot better, I think. There's Benjamin Franklin. I've got a link to an image provided by Corbis Images for Education for free, and it is allowable to be used, so I'm teaching students about the proper way to deal with copyright issues. I've got a link to full text of Benjamin Franklin's autobiography provided by Project Gutenberg, which is also allowable, no copyright problems there. So we have built a page about Ben Franklin, and pretty easy to do, I would say.